Hey guys, this is Ben Jones, and where we last left off, we had just finished making the general layout of the website. In this tutorial, we're going to start actually designing the site to look and feel like our actual website. And before I recorded this tutorial, I took the time to play around and try and get something that actually looked nice. So this is what I came up with. Just unhide this. So this is what we're going to be going for, something like this. So before we start making a website, we should probably think of some things like what color palette we're going to use. And there's a number of tools online that we can come up with color palettes. There's cooler.adobe.com, and this is just a website that just gives you a bunch of different swatches, and you can search by different things and come up with different color schemes. There's colorschemedesigner.com, which is kind of cool. You can just click what type of color scheme you're looking for. If you're looking for a complementary color scheme, you can play around with that. And then there's another method that is kind of nice, and that's if you just search for something. So I just searched for sky, and I found this image, which I liked. Actually, let me pull up which one was the actual image. This one. This was the image that I found that I liked. So I copied that. So I'll just let me copy it. So I copied this image and pasted it into Photoshop. And then what I did was I took one of the filters, so filter, pixelate, mosaic, and cranked up the cell size, and that made the pixel, it kind of averaged the pixels. That's what it did. So I did that and kind of just squished it up there so I had some space. And I took my paintbrush and held down Alt and sampled from the image and just took some samples and kind of painted like a little palette. And so then I just took my little palette and copied and pasted that here into Photoshop, and then used that as kind of like a starting off point for the colors. I'm probably going to be sampling directly from this final image just because it'll be easier than using my original color palette, because my palette ended up changing a little bit as I was working on it to be a little bit lighter. So that's how I got the color scheme. Another thing that I realized was for my demo reel, I'm going to be using YouTube to play the video. And when you embed a video from YouTube on a web page, it includes the little YouTube player buttons and controls down at the bottom. And I didn't account for that in my design. So what I did was I just went on YouTube and took a screenshot. So, I just searched a nice little video and, isolated the controls. So I'm just going to copy that and bring it into my Photoshop file and just paste it in here and line her up. And you can see that it didn't really line up exactly, but we can fix that. Just marquee selection, move tool, and nudge it over so it lines up. Alright? Yeah, it's lined up. Okay, so let's get started on this. I mean, we've already got the color scheme chosen, but like I said before, I'm just going to be sampling from this image rather than my color palette. Alright, so let's work on this. I have to adjust my layout again on this box to kind of fit this over here so it lines up nicely. So let's throw in a background color. So I'm just going to make a new layer and grab my paint bucket tool, and I'm just going to paint bucket in white. And I'm going to do the same thing for this box, only instead of using the paint bucket, I'll just invert it because it's black and I'll make it white. So Control I is invert, and as you can tell, our text is the wrong color, so I'm going to make that black so we can see it. And let's see here. I'm going to add a layer style to this box over here. And to do that, you double click on this empty space by the layer, and that'll bring up your layer styles. And I'm a big fan of layer styles. I think they're really handy. So what I'm going to do is add a stroke, and that adds this black outline around my little box. And I'm going to change the position to be on the inside instead of the outside. And I'm just going to set the size to 1 pixel. So it's a really small stroke. And I'm going to set the color of the stroke to be a fairly light gray color. And click OK. Alright. And now let's work on this navigation bar. So let me just show my guides, Control H, and I'm going to make a marquee selection and select up till there. And I'm going to constrain my selection by doing Control Shift Alt, and I'm going to make what's called an adjustment layer. And what an adjustment layer is it's the same thing as if you were to go up here to Image and then Adjustments, and then choose one of these options like Levels or Hue Saturation. Only what an adjustment layer does is it lets you make changes in the future. So instead of just adjusting the levels to make things brighter or darker, you can adjust it on the fly. So I'm just going to click levels, and I'm going to darken this a little bit and click OK. And oh shoot, my bad. I actually went up to levels. What I meant to do was go down here and click levels down here. And so that created an adjustment layer. So it's a new layer, and it used my selection as a mask. So it's only affecting what I selected. Okay? So I'm going to adjust this adjustment layer and make that a little darker. And I'm probably going to tweak this again later. Okay? So that's a little darker. Let's start to make this the right color that we want. I think I went with a really light bluish, yeah. So I'm just going to come in here and sample this color up top here. And then I'm going to sample the other color. And a quick little hotkey, if you press X, it'll toggle these two colors back and forth. So I'm going to press X and sample the bottom part of this, because there's a little bit of a gradient, and we're going to add that here in a second. So, alright, I'm just going to collapse this. And like I said, I really love layer styles, so we're just going to use a layer style to create this gradient. So double click on the empty space by the layer and go down here to Gradient Overlay. And if we just select this first one right here, we can get that gradient that we had before. And so that's looking pretty good. And as you can see, our adjustment layer is still affecting what we changed. So let's go up here, and I just want to see the difference. Okay, So it's a little bit darker. So I'm just going to adjust the adjustment layer. Make this darker. Okay. And check this again. Oh, that looks pretty good. What I might do actually is go in and make this bottom gradient a little bit darker. So just going in here and just gonna make that a little darker. Okay. And okay, and okay. Alright, cool. So it's starting to look like what we had before, I think. I might have made that too dark. I'm going to go back and adjust that. So this is why I really like adjustment layers and layer styles, is nothing is permanent, and you can always go back and make changes really easily. Okay, let's try that. That looks pretty good, I think. Let's see how it compares. It might be a little too much still. One thing that you can do is, if you want to say I want to lighten up this color, which I do, I can sample from anywhere on this gradient, and it'll set the color of this end of the gradient to be wherever I sample. So I could just sample a little higher up and keep doing that until it gets to about where I want. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay.